Jarrell, welcome to the podcast episode, my man. Good to have you on here. Why don't we just
Thanks for
start
having me.
things off, rewinding the clocks, and just take us back where you were at your life, like before. Actually, let's just start off with like who you are, your position, kind of like what what you do now, and kind of like where you're at right now in your life, so we have some context.
Okay, as you know, my name's Jarell. Right now, I'm 35 years old, and I'm currently living in Vietnam. So I'm from Canada. I used to work a construction job, so I wasn't quite fulfilled with that. A lot of long days, hot out in the summer, cold in the winter. Not very much room for like growth within the companies. Like you get like your yearly raises, but that's pretty much it. It's not like sales where it's like if you do a super good job, you can just, increase your wage to whatever you want. So I was doing that for about 10 years, and my mother got sick, and I had moved in with her because she was an older woman and was taking care of my mom. And so it was kind of weighed on me financially, just taking care of my mom as well as myself. So I was looking into like different ways to make money online. And then, of course, like most people do, they start getting these ads of, starting a marketing agency and all this other stuff. So it dawned on me. I was like, well, this sounds like a pretty good business model. I was like helping other businesses get clients. I was like, I don't think you would really, run out of clients to service at that point. So it made a lot of sense to me. So I dove headfirst into that, tried to get my own marketing agency off the ground. I wouldn't say it was quite successful. Like I did get 4 clients over the 10 months or so that I actually put into it. Well, once I got into it and started working with clients, I just found out this isn't quite what I was looking for. Like I have a passion for helping people, but it was just too much of a headache. Like I was wearing too many hats. Like I was trying to learn too many skills at once, and it got really overwhelming. I was still working my construction job. I was taking care of my mom at the same time. So long story short, that didn't quite work out, and I shut it down. But I was getting pretty good at sending like cold DMs and actually booking meetings for my agency. I'd hop on calls, do triage calls, and make sure they're qualified before I jump on a Zoom like this. So after that, I didn't want to just say, well, time to pack it in and just keep doing construction because this first opportunity didn't work out. So then I don't know where I was. I think I was on Instagram or something like that, and I saw a guy talking about like DM appointment setting because I didn't even know and like that was a thing that people were actually doing that for companies and getting paid. So then I stumbled across it and I was like, that's really, really interesting. So long story short, my mother ended up passing away, and I didn't want to get back into construction at all. Like I ended up leaving my construction job. I didn't want to, go back to it. I knew that like, I'm destined for more, like not just working a construction job and, making whatever amount a month. I always knew I was, destined to live a better life. So I just bet on myself. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna take my last little bit of money I have saved up. I was like, and I'm gonna move to the other side of the world. I was like, I'm gonna cut everything off, all the distractions, and I was like, I'm gonna go make this happen. So I found a DM setting coach. He's been helping me out, got me a couple of roles. The first role was half decent. I made a little bit of money, but nothing worth, writing home about. So here I am. I'm still fighting that battle, trying to find a good DM setting role or appointment setting role, period. And then eventually I came across Setter to Closer. I think I was in a Facebook group and I saw somebody mention something about Setter to Closer. I was like, that sounds interesting. I was like, let me check that out. Then I watched the BSL and I saw Matt talking about like, oh, how he's worked with Cole Gordon and all this other good stuff. I was like, wow. I was like, this guy actually sounds like somebody I like really want to learn from. Like, yeah, he's obviously knows what he's talking about. He's not just some guy that, is on school saying out like, hey, come join my group. So I joined Setter to Closer, and yeah, I'm looking to level up my skills once again. Like DM setting isn't turning out to be all what I thought it was gonna be, or at least not with the companies that I've been working with. So I figure like I'm just gonna level up one more time and learn how to get on the phone and actually talk to people and convert those into sales calls for businesses.
I don't know, man. Kind of curious, if you had to like
rapid fire through like what's like the list of skill sets you have to have in order to like start online marketing agency?
So to start an agency, I would say first you need to know copywriting, because the first thing that everyone always says is like all you need to focus on is doing outreach and getting booked meetings. So I would say learning how to do outreach, obviously copywriting, because you can't write a whole big long paragraph and expect someone to respond to that. On top of that, once you get some clients, like you got to learn how to manage the expectations of the clients. You need to learn how to like sell on Zoom. You need to learn the fulfillment, because once they agree, like, okay, I'm going to pay you, your job's not over. So now whether it's you run ads or do content or whatever it is, you have to be good at that, because they're not going to stay around if you're not getting them results. On top of that, you need to learn how to manage a team, because let's face it, once you get 5 clients or so, like, you can't be doing everything yourself. So you need to manage a team. What else? Like it was just seemed like it was never ending. Like learning new systems, obviously with AI and everything coming out, it's just like nonstop learning how to do this and that. Is just it's very overwhelming for somebody that's new wanting to get into the whole online space.
Got it. So for like basically for like the threshold for you to be able to start making money through just like, hey, I want to make money online, I'm gonna start my own business, you'd have to do the appointment setting, the closing, the fulfillment, like setting up a business entity, finding your own clients, like fulfilling
Right.
and generating all those leads and knowing the copywriting, know how to run the ads on Facebook, knowing the algorithm, knowing the media buying, knowing the marketing strategy. And so it's like you're kind of like, oh, I could like keep going down this pathway with like these 10 brand new skill sets that I have to learn and be good at because my whole income is based around me being able to perform on all these fronts. And you kind of saw appointment setting as you were like, oh, hey, I only have to know one simple thing.
No, that's exactly it. I just want to get good at like one thing, hone in on that skill, and just excel at that, rather than trying to have 10 different skills that I'm trying to juggle and learn all at once. Because as you know, like if you chase 10 rabbits at once, you're not going to catch any.
Totally.
Hmm. And so how did the like the DM setting on that role, like what I guess made you want to transition into going from like DM setting on your own agency offer to like just DM setting full time?
Well, I actually enjoyed it. It was like get a bit of like, I guess, like a dopamine rush. It's like, because for the longest time it's like you're trying to figure out like, oh, what's going to resonate with these guys, like, can I get a book meeting? And then all of a sudden it starts working, and then it's like starts working even better and better. You're like, oh my god, like you actually get a rush. It's like I booked 5 sales calls today. It's like it was a big deal for me. It's like, and like none of my friends were into this stuff. So it's like I couldn't go run and brag to them, because they'd be like, bro, I don't care about that. So it's like, to me, to myself, I was like, this is a huge win. And it's like I didn't want to just pack it in and say, oh well, I'm gonna let all this skill go down the drain, because I couldn't figure out all these other skills. So that's why I was like, well, let me figure out how I can really turn this into something, because obviously, like, getting clients is a very valuable skill. Like, maybe it didn't work inside of my business that I was trying to set up, but that doesn't mean like somebody else that has a business where they have the systems, the sales team and everything else, like they won't appreciate my skills.
Totally, man. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, what would you say is like the where you're at now? Like, what is like the most difficult like thing that you're like looking for right now? Like, is it finding the job? Is it when you're on a team, like having that higher level skill set? Like, what would you say is the most difficult thing right now for you?
Right now, I would say the most difficult thing for me is just finding an offer where they actually have everything, like where they're not just like a little startup, kind of like still working out all their own kinks, right? Like I'm looking for trying to find a team that they've got everything built out. They have a good sales team, because it's like my first offer, I was putting up quite a few sets, but a lot of them weren't closing. And then when I met the closers, like, not that it matters how old you are, but a lot of them, like a few of them are really young guys, and they weren't very experienced. So it was kind of frustrating. It's like I put in all this work to book these calls, and the closers aren't that sharp. So that's one thing that's really really tough. Trying to find that offer to where it's like they already have everything in place. They just need somebody to help get more calls on their calendar.
Do you know
Yeah,
what
man.
the cash collection or like the revenue was in that company when you joined? Like how
So
big
it
of an
was
operation?
no, it wasn't. It wasn't very big. I think it was like 20K a month or something like that. Like they were very very small. But at that time, that was my first offer to where I was working for like a coach on Instagram. So it was new to me. So I wasn't gonna turn down the offer to actually get my feet wet. But I quickly realized like, yeah, I need to find somebody that's more established and really has their systems built out.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's it's funny, I would say like I'm an extreme advocate for appointment setters in the high ticket space. And that's the exact reason why in Setter to Closer I talk so much about differentiating like the good roles from like the bad roles and like knowing what questions they ask in the interview so you can vet the opportunity and make sure they have enough lead flow to actually support the income that you're looking for because that's a very common pitfall. Like when you first step into the space, it's like, hey, like you don't know the difference between a good role and a bad role until you've gone through a couple of them and you can start seeing the differences there. But I think that was actually really wise of you when you jumped in, you like kind of like took one of the first offers that came your way because that also gives you like a stepping stone, right? Like you now know where like obviously like kind of like you get a taste for like what companies you don't want to be with, but then also at the same time too having some past experiences make it a lot easier for you to step onto your next team from there, having gone through all this stuff before and witnessing it all, starting your own agency. You're on like a much better foot to have just like, hey, like if this would have been your dream role, if your first interview was your like perfect dream role ever, like you might have like waffed the interview versus now
Yeah.
you're more experienced and you're more prepared to take on a higher caliber team, and then you probably also know how to ramp up better on a new team as well, given the fact that you've done it before. So like if you were to find that dream offer now, you'd be able to be more successful more quickly now.
No, I agree with that 100%.
Cool. And like with the new offer that you're looking for now, Darrell, you mentioned like it's the phone role. Like you want to go like actually calling people up, talking to them, communicating with them instead of just like sending them over text messages and stuff like that.
No,
Right.
exactly. Like it's a little bit like me, it's a little bit I get a little bit of anxiety from it. Like it's a little bit overwhelming, but every time that I've leaned into that feeling, it's always been like it's always worked out for me and it's always been for the better. Like it's never went bad when I leaned into that feeling. Like when I leveled up for myself and I realized like everything that I want is outside of that comfort zone. Like if I just stay comfortable and hiding behind a computer screen and typing, like my growth opportunities are only so much. But if I
Mm.
step outside of that and get on the phone and people actually hear me, and I have better chances of, making more money and getting to where I want to be and creating more value for the companies that I work with.
Mm.
Um,
And I asked you this on our group coaching call that we had the other day, but like why not just get a better role as a DM setter as opposed to like hopping into phone sales? Because I know like who was it? Who's in the group that Corbin. Yeah, Corbin just did like 13,000 dollars as a DM setter in that offer that you were managing, Matt. Right. So it's like it's possible the numbers are there, right? You can definitely do it. But I mean, you've been doing it at this point now for a while, and it sounds like you just kind of want something a little bit newer. But like at the same time, it's like the offers you've got on, like the closers have kind of sucked. It hasn't been the the biggest sort of company. I mean, 20K a month is like
Yeah, that's
tiny.
peanuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's no. Well, I know there's better DM setter offers out there. It's just if you're kind of new to the space, don't have a bunch of connections, like where are they? They're not exactly just being advertised publicly all over the place. Like I've tried Facebook and different groups, and I'm in school communities and stuff like that, and I've applied, but they're all like smaller companies. So that's basically the main struggle on why I'm looking to just level up because I've noticed like there's a lot more phone appointment setting roles than there is DM setting goals, at least from what I'm seeing. And inside of like setter to closer, you guys are all dealing with a lot bigger companies, and I don't hear you guys talking about, oh yeah, they're looking for a DM setter. Like everyone's talking about how they're jumping on the phone. So I guess that's what I have to do is learn how to jump on the phone.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious, we talked about, what things like you weren't expecting and stuff like that when you jumped in, but, what do you like the most about, appointment setting in like the high ticket space overall?
Guess, what I really like about it is that I don't know, and I don't want it to sound selfish. Like I'm in this because I want to obviously help the prospect make the right decision. But mostly what I like about it is I can create my own income. Like if I want to work like a horse, I can make as much money as I want. So that's what really attracted me to it. Like I guess there's no other way to really put it. Like aside from wanting to help other people, the other person on the other side of the phone or message or whatever, it's like I'm able to create my own destiny.
Got it. And what would you say is like your ideal role now? Like what would be like your dream role that you're looking for currently?
So my dream role that I'm looking for currently, I guess it would be setting for some type of like biz op offer, maybe in like real estate or also maybe like an RCA type role, because it's like, and I know there's other guys like me that are wanting to break into this sales space and need help. So those two roles kind of resonate with me a lot because I'm really interested in real estate for one, and then also I think if I got into like a sales training role where they're helping people get into the remote space, like I could resonate with those people because I could be like, hey, I used to be right where you are, and so on and so forth, and now this is where I am now. So I think
Got
that
it.
would really resonate with them if I were on a offer like that.
Yeah. And what are your income goals right now? Like what are you looking to be making in a month's time?
Oh man, if I could make even 5K a month right now, that would that would be awesome for me. Like obviously I'm looking to make, my goal is 10K a month, but I have to take it as it comes. Like I know I'm not just going to jump from very almost nothing to 10K a month overnight.
Yeah. And what would you say about like how your time zones that you're in right now, like is that like affected your role at all? Are you in a position where you're able to like work like whenever the best leads are coming in, or like what's that look like for you?
So I know that it's and it's actually not bad for me. Like I work all through the night. Like for example, like I'm working today. I took my break to do this call, but I'm gonna work until 9 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm gonna go to bed. So I've just completely shifted, my sleep schedule. So I only start work, around 8 o'clock and 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and then I'll work all through the night into the morning, and then I'll be done. So it doesn't really bother me. The first couple of weeks were a little bit hard, just getting used to it because I've never really worked through the night like that. But now it doesn't bother me.
Nice. And like, would you say like being a part of a community with like, several other hundred people that are like doing the same thing too, is that like kind of like helping you build out your network? And like, are you able to kind of like drop some wins in there? Like, hey, I got like 5 sets today, whereas like your friends wouldn't relate with that, but like other people in Setter to Closer would.
Oh, 100%. Like it's nice to be in that community because it's like I can relate with these people, and I can help others that are, like give advice to others that are maybe, not as advanced as I am. And then most of all, I can learn from a lot of people in the group that are miles ahead of me. So I
Yeah,
think it's invaluable to be in a community like that.
nice. And have you gotten the certification yet from Setter to Closer?
No, I haven't. So I just joined last month. I just finished all the training. Like there was a lot of modules to go through, sorry. But I just finished all the modules, so I'm gonna pick a script now and I'm gonna start learning it so I can come on to some of the mock calls and learn to get that certification so I can actually get into the pipeline and and looking getting my first phone setting role.
Yeah, man, that's going to be incredible. I'm excited for you to get that because, like, as you're talking about your background and stuff, like, I can already hear and think of several businesses right now off the back of my head that I'm like, oh, like this kind of fits into like what you're looking for and like what you've experienced before in the past. So really glad we were able to like jump on and kind of like hear more about like what you have going on. Also, another thing that you can do before you even get the certification from me and get access to my pipeline, there is a training inside of the course where there's a little bit over 20 different free recruitment pipelines. Have you been able to apply to any of those yet?
I believe I went through that module, but it's like I didn't. I believe that one guy, what's his name? He has a like a free pipeline. I can't remember his name right now, but I went through it. But every like once again, I've noticed like majority of the roles they're looking for a phone appointment setter. Like I think I saw like one or two roles for a DM appointment setter, but majority of them is like they want people on the phone, and so that's what I've got to do, I guess.
Yeah. When it like comes to like your hustle, like are you down to like pound the phones hard right now? Are you in like a workhorse kind of a mode phase of life?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like maybe not so much cold calling. Like I don't want to be like
Yeah.
I'm not looking for to like sit there pound the phone and call people that like don't even know have nothing to don't want anything to do with you. But what if someone said like, yeah, we have, endless leads coming in from our ads and like recently, not oh go reactivate our pipeline that's been sitting there, cold for months and months. Like if someone had a ton of leads, of course, like once I get that skill, it's like I would call them up all day long.
Nice. And as you were like going through the course, was there like anything new you learned, or was it like all old stuff? Like, what did you feel about the course in and of itself?
No, there was a bunch of stuff that I learned. Like the biggest one of the biggest takeaways that I can remember is like just the questions to ask on the interviews. So I literally like downloaded that sheet. Now like when I get on an offer, it's like I'll have that pulled up. Like when they say, "Oh, do you have any questions for me?" And it's like, "Actually, I do." Because it's like
Yeah,
I need to get answers before I just jump on a roll and find out like, okay, this is a waste of time.
totally. Yeah, and like just so you know, and especially for anybody like watching this, is like I've interviewed, hundreds of people, and I've spoken with a lot of people that are responsible for hiring a lot of people into the high ticket space. And we've like generally almost everybody agrees the most interesting part of that interview is not when you're asking the candidate questions, but when you open up that floor at the end of those calls, because that's kind of like how these high ticket interviews work. Is like you ask them questions, and then near the end they're like, okay, what questions you got for me? That is always the most interesting and exciting part, at least for me and a lot of people I've spoken with, because you really get to see a glimpse of that person's understanding of the space based on what questions they're asking. If you go to an interview and they open up that interview floor and you're like, no, I don't have any questions, they're like, oh man, like this guy doesn't know what he's walking into, right? And that's the
Right.
exact point in which some of those companies will take advantage of appointment setters to like reactivate their old lists that they're just wishing on a hope that like maybe they can get a couple of sets in there and like revive some revenue from my old ad spend and stuff, and so that's a pitfall easy falling into if you don't have like a coach or like someone like letting you know that kind of stuff. Like it's important to vet these opportunities the same way that they're vetting you.
No, no, and I've realized that like when I first got into this space, like I didn't really know anything, right? But now that I've been through setter to closer and I've watched that module, I realized like, yeah, this isn't just about them trying to find someone. It's like you're trying to find someone as well. Like you want to make sure it's a good fit, just like they want to make sure it's a good fit. Like you're not just coming in at their mercy and be like, hey, I can do whatever. It's like no, you need to tick off these boxes as well. So I know that going into this, we're gonna be able to help each other, not just me, doing whatever you want.
Yeah, 100%, man. And like being in setter to closer so far, and like the first, I guess you said a month now, like 30 days.
Mhm.
What would you say has kind of been the biggest point of leverage and value for you since coming in here? Has it been
I
like
would say
community?
the group coaching calls, like I can't believe how many group coaching calls there are and how many coaches at that. I've been in a few school communities before and it's like maybe they'll have a call 3 times a week at most, but it's like there's literally coaching calls every single day, and with all different coaches, and everybody's got their own expertise. So it's like you can jump on and you learn something new from every coach. So I really find it invaluable being able to come on and speak with people that are, light years ahead of me in this space, and get their 2 cents. Like, I can come in, tell them what I'm dealing with, and ask for their feedback on like how they would handle it or what should I do. So it's like I'm so grateful to be able to jump on those calls.
Yeah. As far as I know, I don't think this group actually profits anything. We just take all the money from the subscriptions and just pay coaches and pay for events and stuff like that. We're doing the
No,
Mr. Beast style, just reinvestment.
well, it's still a new community, but I believe one day it would definitely be profitable, because it's like, I literally don't know of any school community like this that has that many coaches, where it's like like I said, everybody's has their own expertise, right? Like, you could jump on a call with like Michael Stubbs. Like, I've been on a few calls with him, and he's very helpful. And it's like, then I jumped on a call with you, and you had your whole different insights on interviews, and talked about that mock mannequin that you showed me about, so I can do my sales like role plays. Then I've jumped on a call with Matt. He's got his own way of teaching and his own insights. So it's like I said, it's invaluable to be able to talk to that many people, and all for, I think I got in when it was like $47. It's like that's crazy. Like, there's some school communities they're charging, $108 a month, and it's like fluff.
Yeah, I think that's like probably the biggest sort of touch point with this group is like the amount of tactical feedback in there. Like, just like the training is just like so specific on like, do this, do this, do this. You can't fail. It's like the fluff gets cut off, and it's just so freaking tactical, man. Shout out to
Right.
Matt for making a lot of the material in here.
Yeah,
He's
thank
a
you
real
very
one.
much, Matt. And it's like, and actually being, somebody like worth their salt, like, what you're talking about. Like, you work for like big names in the space that everybody, like, if you're in the space, that name. Like, you're not just some guy that, oh, I got good at appointment setting, I made 10K once, and now let me go teach the world.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I
It's
find
kind
there's a
of
lot of
like,
that.
yeah, yeah, I know a lot of times where people will do a thing for like a couple of months and then they're like, I'm going to start my own business and teach this. And that was definitely something that I was like, I want to become an overall undisputed like champion at this before I start my own thing. And so, that contrived of like, making as much money as the closer made consistently month over month. Like, I easily had months where I was like casually doing like 15, 16, 17K. I had my like best month ever where I did the 19K. And I did that on multiple different offers. I went from setter to closer to sales team manager on multiple offers, and lately, I'm currently leading a team of 50 appointment setters
Wow.
within one company, another company that has only 8 appointment setters currently. And off like one of the last businesses I was with, like, I was managing around 40 appointment setters over there. So it's like, I've definitely worked with a lot of appointment setters over the last couple of years, and done a lot of appointments myself before I ever decided that I was going to start helping out other people with this, because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just going to like jump in there and not know what I was talking about and like, hey, everybody should listen to me. I was like, no, I was like, I'm going to make this my lane of expertise before I launch anything, and like try to make sure that I can help other people out with this before, putting the cart before the horse, essentially.
No, no, for sure. I think that's huge, because like I said, there's so many people out here, especially on school, excuse me, that it's like we are just saying, like, they did something once or made 10K a month once, and it's like, now let me show you how to, start your agency and do all X, Y, and Z. And then it's like, you get in there and you look at their material, and it's really nothing. It's nothing new. It's like, you could have found, like, yeah, it's structured, but you could have found that on YouTube somewhere. There's no like real inside industry insights.
Shout out, Matt.
Well, thank you very much, man, for creating this community, and all that you do, like putting all those coaches together and coordinating all that. I'm very thankful.
Yeah, man, no
Yeah,
doubt.
man. And we got to get you doing the mocks, trained up, so you're ready to hop in a setter role and get you transitioning, man. Because like DMing
Oh no,
is, it's
it's a
good, but it
grind.
sounds like you're ready to go up.
No, for sure I'm ready to go up because the DM setting, it's just a grind, and it's like it takes all my time, and it's like I'm over here trying to figure out how I can stack offers just so I can make a decent amount of money, and it's like, okay, let's just figure out how to get on the phones and be confident, and let's just find one good offer and just kill it instead of trying to piece together all these little small offers so you can live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd only need to really do that if an offer is too small. Companies, it's like why you would need to take on multiple jobs in any industry. It's just because they don't have enough work for you to pay you that full thing. And there's like lots
Exactly.
of companies out there that will pay you like the full freaking wage. It's just like you said earlier, like just not taking the first offer that's given to you. Because I think with your sort of history and your just the way you present yourself, man, there's gonna be a lot of people who would want to give you the opportunity, but like you actually being picky because you being in this group kind of gives you a little bit more leverage with knowledge. Like you don't have to take the first offer, and you can actually use like more authority around. Well, actually, I have lots of offers that I'm considering right now, and um, you know, let me ask you some questions about your business first, just so I can see if there's some synergy between us.
For sure. Be able to flip the script on them and be like, listen, like, yeah, thanks for the opportunity, but it's like I don't need to take your like almost like telling them I don't need to take your opportunity because I have a bunch lined up. So it's like let me look at those as well before I just, say, yes, I can do whatever you want.
Totally. So
Exactly.
if you found one specific offer right now that was like really great, would you be willing to drop all the other things and focus on one thing?
Oh hell yeah. That's really what I'm looking for is something that I can just one thing that I could go all in and master. So that's why I'm like while I'm doing this DM setting, I'm trying to carve out time to actually learn the script. Like a lot of the times, like I'll just be role playing like by myself. Like I'll just be maybe in the shower or on a walk, and it's like I'll just be rehearsing the script to myself in my head. Like people on the street might see me like, who's this guy talking to himself? Like he doesn't have any earbuds or anything in, but it's like I don't care because it's like I need to find the time to like just internalize it. So when I actually do get on mocks, I know what I'm saying and I'm confident in what I'm saying.
Yeah, that makes sense. And what's your kind of like, what attracts your eye when you're like reading all these different posts about job opportunities? Like what stands out when you read like the comp structures? Like what are you really looking for as far as comp structure goes right now?
Well, I know it's always nice to have a base, but that's not what attracts me really because it's like I'm kind of leery about when they have a base or when I see the base is really high because it makes me think right away like, okay, what's wrong with your business? Like why are you offering this? Because there's a lot of roles out there they don't offer that. So really when it comes to the comp structure, I'm not looking for anything. I wouldn't say the thing that I'm looking at the most is just like making sure the offer actually kind of resonates with me, but also making sure that the ticket price is high enough. Because it's like if they're selling like a $2,000 product and they're only giving 5%, it's like, man, I'm gonna have to do so much work just to make a decent living here. And then it's like I said, if their closers aren't sharp, it's like, it's like never ending putting up sets, like just hoping for them to close one.
Yeah. Would you be down to take some coaching from me right now in this interview?
Sure.
Right on. So
And I
here's
should say
how
sure, I should say yes.
yeah. So here's the way that I view comp structures, right? And there's like a really deadly trap in the high ticket space where if a company is offering no base pay and you hear that they've got like 100 setters or like 50 setters on the team and you're like, huh, no base pay and they got like 50 setters, like you might assume to yourself like, oh, maybe this company's really got it going on. Like maybe that's what's happening there. But I've actually seen this issue where companies they won't be giving a base pay to their setters and they'll have like 50 setters on the team and the company's only doing like a half a million a month, right? Which if everybody's getting 5%, that means like everybody's making like $5, like
Yeah.
nobody's making any money at all. And so sometimes those are good offers to cut your teeth on, right? Like, because they'll probably have just a tremendous amount of leads, but the lead quality is so low, and the leads that they're attracting, their intent level is just so low, and they need 50 setters so they can cycle through all those leads to just find like the one golden one, right? And so I've seen that happen before. And then I've seen on the flip side of that coin too, where people are offering like a 3K or like even higher a month base. And it's like, huh, like, why do you got to offer all that base pay to like keep people
Mhm.
around? Like, that's really interesting. But typically, where I see the kind of golden area is between a 1K base and a $2,500 base. In that range, typically business owners there, the reason why they're giving that base pay is because they want to keep their setters well fed, especially in the first month, 2 months, as you're starting to accumulate a bigger pipeline, starting to have follow-up sales, so you can kind of like start stacking from there. So that's something I would keep an eye on is like if you've seen a base pay from either like 1K to like $2,500, it's generally just because they want to take good care of their appointment setters, and they want them to be there for a long time with them. They're looking to build a long-term relationship with that appointment setter, and making sure that they have the finances they need to be there.
Right. So if you were to start all over again and knowing what you know, if you were going into a role, it sounds like you wouldn't take one that has zero base. It sounds like you'd be looking for one that has, at least a 1K base, like you're saying.
Yeah, it would be very rare for me to tell somebody to step onto an offer where there's no base pay at all. That would be a very rare situation. That might be a stack of things, a stack of reasons why. But, I would say that there's a lot of questions in that interview process that you probably want to ask the interviewer if they weren't giving any base pay at all.
Got it. No, it's because I realize that because it's like I'm working on a no base, and it almost sometimes, like especially when like their leads from their ads are super low quality. Like for example, I'm on this offer, and they're like, oh yeah, we're running ads and the leads are really high intent, and it's like a lot of these leads, like last night I disqualified them because they're like, oh yeah, they're from the US, but it's like a lot of these people were like, and no offense, like they were Indians they were in the US, yes, but like they're there on a work visa or a student visa, and this is a biz op offer. So it's like these people aren't even legally allowed to start a business in the
Mm,
country.
mm. Yeah, I think like what kind of piggybacking off of what Matt was saying was like that kind of golden range between like 1 to 2.5K. Personally, I've seen that be like really good, and like on the offer that you were on with the DM setting role, dude, like that was like 20K a month, right? So they probably couldn't even afford to pay their setters a base pay,
No, no,
right?
that
Because it's
that
just so
that's
small. Right? Like so like it kind of disqualifies all like the smaller offers for sure from there versus like if it's above sort of 3K, you're probably looking more at like cold call offers or things like that where they know you're just freaking pulling out your hair and you want to kill yourself all the time. So they got to give you that kind of money, right? So, I guess now you got some guardrails over like the offer structure of like what you're looking for here. We want to make at least 5K a month, and we want to be doing like inbound leads coming in on like a setter offer. Is there anything else that you're looking for like in the next like year or so here? Is it just kind of like just planning on staying in Vietnam?
well, I really like it here. I'm planning on like I'm here in Vietnam because it's super affordable for me to live while I figure out this whole remote sales journey. But once if I were to get up to, well, not if, when I get up to 5K, like I'm really thinking of moving to the Dominican Republic just so I can be back in that time zone to where I'm not working all night. I can actually, wake up at like 5 in the morning, go hit the gym and get ready for my day to start at 9 instead of waking up late in the afternoon and starting my job at 9 p.m.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I've heard a lot of people go to Dominican Republic. It's just like super affordable there and you can get like good food.
No, I don't really have any desires to go back to Canada, to tell you the truth.
Where in Canada were you?
I'm from Ottawa.
Oh man, you're from the capital, eh? So you got all
Yeah.
the bureaucracy there, kind of fancy cars and stuff. I'm on the West Coast. So I'm in Vancouver.
Okay, okay. I hear it's nice out there. I've never been, but I hear it's like, are you on the island or?
No, no, just outside the city, like 30, 40 minutes
Okay,
kind of
okay.
thing. Right. And
Nice.
I'm like telling my girlfriend who's like also a setter on like one of Matt's offers, I'm telling her like, man, we got to get up and get out of here. We just elected another liberal government. Like we got to go. And like anyone we talk to there and we let them know like we've got remote jobs. They're like, why the heck are you still in Canada? Like if you can make the money, go to Vietnam, go to Dominican Republic, go to these different places. And so we're probably going to be checking out Portugal in like the next couple months here. Uh,
Nice.
like good weather, cheap wine, stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's like, and like now is the time to do it, right? Like we're all young, so it's like go like you have a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like when you're 60 years old, it's like, are you gonna be able to enjoy those places as much as you would enjoy them now? Probably
No,
not.
probably in like a different way for sure. As you get older, you kind of experience places differently. But when you kind of get into the older ages, for sure, like you've probably seen that photo of like the retired couple in like Venice, and they're like sleeping on that little like boat ride. It's like, man, you waited too long. You waited too
Yeah,
long.
exactly. But
So
no, aside from within a 1 year time frame, it's like I don't just want to be a setter. Like obviously I want to come in, learn phone setting, get really good at that. But then my ultimate goal is to transition into closing.
Got it.
sure.
So you want to move from setter into closer. That makes a lot of sense. If you had like, if I was an interviewer interviewing you right now, like spot out, like question, like gun to your head kind of answer, like, why should I hire you?
Gun to my head, why should you hire me? My work ethic for number one. I won't give up, and I'm super coachable. So I don't take feedback negatively. I don't take it like some type of way, like, oh, you're getting down on me, and get some type of attitude. Like I value people telling me, giving me feedback on how I can be better, just so I can get better for myself and get better for them.
Nice. Right, man. Well, I always talk a whole lot about, inside of setter to closer, there's like jobs left and right everywhere. Like people can go to a group coaching call with, Nick Elliott. Nick Elliott owns a recruitment pipeline, or you might jump on with Caitlin. Blanking on her last name right now, Caitlin Scott, and you might jump on with Caitlin Scott, and she might just be like, "Hey, like, let's have an interview because I'm hiring setters over on my offer, right?" Because like all the coaches are in some way affiliated with managing appointment setting teams or have really strong networks. So I've seen students go into the group coaching calls and get jobs. I've seen students go through the sourcing a gig module and source their own gig. I've helped students go through my recruitment pipeline, land jobs there. And then I also offer like there's 20 other recruitment pipelines that I've seen a bunch of people get jobs through there. One place I've never seen someone get a job interview is in a live podcast, and I think we're gonna break the seal on that one today. So honestly,
That'd be
man, I
awesome.
would I would be interested in actually jumping on an interview maybe later today or tomorrow, for one of the offers that I'm currently managing. So job opportunities spilling out all over the place. It looks like another one
Wow.
now.
I'm
So yeah,
I'm
man,
very grateful. Yeah, yeah. Let's it'd be better if we could jump on one tomorrow if we could do that, Matt.
totally. Let's schedule something and I'll message you inside of school and we'll pick out a time.
Yeah, sounds good.
Right
There
on.
we go.
Ethan's over there
That's
like, what
awesome.
just
I
happened?
didn't expect that at all. It's like, and like especially like when we were on the call last week, and you were like, "Does anyone else want to maybe be on the podcast?" And I'm sitting here like thinking inside my head, like, this guy doesn't want to interview me. It's like I'm totally new at this. And I was like, it's like, no, Jarrell. It's like I was like, put your hand up and say yeah. And
Yeah,
then
I'm
so it's
glad you
worked
did.
out for the best. It's like just put yourself out there, and you never know what's gonna happen.
Right on. Cool. Well, I guess last question here before we wrap up. if there was like anybody like watching this interview and they're like kind of apprehensive on like high ticket space, make money online, they weren't like really sure what direction to go, like what would you say to those people specifically to like, like what were your fears and like what do you think you could speak to them on right now to like kind of like, if you were speaking directly eye to eye with one of those people right now, like what could you say to them?
Like about setter to closer, or just this whole?
Just the whole industry on like, whether like, someone's uncertain on the edge of jumping into this or not, like what would you say to them?
Okay. I would say, like, especially if I was talking to myself, like knowing what I know now, I would say find somebody that is well known in the space. Like, not don't because there's a lot of people out here that are claiming to be sales coaches. So I would say find somebody that actually has a track record in this space, and not just a track record of, oh, I've made 10 grand a month. Like somebody like yourself that has, a track record of working with very established businesses that are known. Find someone like that and do whatever you have to do to get in the same room as them and work with them. Like, no matter what that's going to cost you, like, yeah, I understand some people can't afford, to be paying someone, say, $10,000 to work with them. But I would say that's the biggest thing. Find somebody that really has that expertise and can get you from point A to point B and has already done what you're looking to do, and figure out how you can get in the same room as them and their network and learn from them. And that's basically what I plan to do inside of setter to closer.
Right on, man. That's awesome.
Boom. Awesome, man. It's good to have you on here, man. It's good to connect with you. And I kind of think that the best takeaway from this call is that you didn't think that you were experienced enough, but you put up your hand, and now you've got a potential opportunity on your plate to get placed in a role, man. And I think that's kind of indicative of this whole space. So I'm
Yeah, no,
looking
for
forward
sure.
to kind of seeing next steps for you, man.
I noticed that about this space. It's like, it's really about putting yourself out there and getting in the right room. Because like, look at this podcast. Like, I had no idea that could happen. But it's like, if I would have never said like, yeah, I'll jump on the podcast or put my hat in the ring, it definitely never would have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know it could happen either.
But obviously, everything in my mind, everything happens for a reason. So obviously, meeting me, and there's something you see in me that could benefit with what you're doing, and vice versa. So I'm very grateful that I jumped on. I thought it was canceled, to tell you the truth, because I looked at my phone, and all of a sudden I see like the event's canceled. And then you were saying, oh, that was for next week, but it didn't really click, because I was thinking, like, why would I be on the calendar for next week? I just figured all of a sudden it got canceled. I was thinking, oh no, man. I was looking forward to that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my fault. I had added you to all of them going forward for the rest of history, and I was like, oh, I made a mistake there. So that's why that popped through as canceled. But before we jump off here, do you want to know the reason why? Like one of the traits that I can tell just from speaking to you on why I would want to interview you?
Please.
That you're telling me that you are a workhorse and you've got a lot of work ethic, right? Generally, people that do have that, a lot of times it's great that they have it, but then also when they speak and their tonality and their cadence and how they operate, they're like a chicken with their head cut off. They're like all over the place, like exploding energy. They've got all this nervous energy and they're just like running over themselves. But you're very calm and cool and collected. You've got that like radio voice about you, And so that translates very well to being on the phone with prospects, because when you're there, you're calm, you're cool, relaxed, you're comfortable. It displays a high level of confidence. And when people are uncertain about buying something, but they get on with somebody that speaks like you and holds yourself like you, that's the exact thing that can give that person the confidence. Because if there is one emotion that you'd want to be able to give to a prospect on the phone in that appointment setting call, it would be confidence. And so anything you can do to help raise that, if you get on the phone, you're like nervous laughing and you're all over the place and stumbling over your words and you're so nervous that you don't even know how to operate, you kind of like get like a deer in headlights kind of syndrome, right? Versus if you're like calm, cool, and collected, cool, man. So when you saw our ad, how are you hoping we could potentially help you out? right? Like I can hear that. I can hear how you would say that, and I'm like, wow, this guy's got that dog in him.
Exactly, like Eric Thomas said, he got that dog.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell one more funny story before we jump here. There was a sales meeting that I was running once with, it was like around 150 people in this Zoom call. And we were doing announcements for the team and doing wins for the team. And it came up to my turn to like, do some wins. And I was like, well, first something in his chest, and that appointment setter is Jimmy Latrigue. They found something in his chest. And what they found actually in there was that, and I paused for a really long time, and you could see everybody's like eyes like, oh my gosh. And I said, he's got that dog in him, and like everybody like lost it. It was like hilarious. So that's like my go-to card now. I love pulling that one out. But it was great having you here, Jarrell.
Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it.
Right on.
Appreciate
All right.
you, man.
Sweet. We'll
Okay,
catch you
guys.
later.
Yeah, take care.